Hey, what's up, guys? Wanted to reconvene here on the system for points for B-Dienst points. I was doing a little more thinking on it. The formula I was using before was one that I had borrowed from the old Wolfpack League that was in operation for SH2 and SH3. But looking at the formula again, it really didn't make a lot of sense what the formula was actually achieving, and so I wanted to have other things affect the points, and I also wanted to provide a little more transparency into what exactly the points, how exactly the points are calculated. So I built it up a little bit, a little more detail. So let's just walk through. So, for example, this is how the campaign is currently standing right now. We lost U60. Here, this was filled out. This was 4, and so the hit we took was we went from 38 to 34, so not a big hit. But to walk through how this is done, I more equally weighted the different factors that go into it. But basically, let's just walk through this formula. So what it's doing is it's taking the number of successful patrols plus the amount of tonnage divided by 1,000. So you can see this is 46.6. Times the ratio of successful patrols over total patrols. That's B2 over B3. Okay, in this case, for Schutz, it's 1. He has sunk something on every patrol he's gone on. And then multiplied by the ratio of your hit percentage, right? And of course, there's duds in here too. There's eels fired versus eels hit. The difference between this could be duds, could be misses. But the point is you fired 15 torpedoes, of which 6 hit. Okay, so to run through this section again, it's tonnage divided by 1,000. Run through the percentage, your patrol success percentage, and your hit percentage. Okay, plus ships sunk, the number of ships sunk. Okay, and that is how the score is determined. So I recalculated the top aces using this criteria. The only thing I left out, of course, is the torpedoes fired versus torpedoes hit. I have no way of getting that information, but what I did do is I just ran it through a straight dud percentage, which is roughly 40%. Okay, so 60% is what I applied to that. So what that's doing is it's assuming the average of duds and assuming these guys hit everything they shot at, which is probably not true, but it's good enough. So it gives us a good steady, a good spread of levels to shoot for, and so just to give you an idea of what kind of how the numbers are gonna kind of move. So Prophet, for example, as soon as he comes back and he triggers he'll have a successful patrol and he'll have 1 patrol. So once he returns to port, these will become 1 and 1. So now, boom, 4 points have been earned, right, based on his patrol. Okay, that bumps it up to 37, which would actually get us back up to the level we were before. So we were at 38, I believe, and then with the loss of U60, we bumped us down a level. But then him returning to port will get us back up to the level we were before. So it really doesn't take a whole lot in a lot of cases to recoup the points. So that's returning from patrol. Let's say let's say he came back, okay, and then let's say on the second patrol he went out on, he's going, and then he shoots, let's say he shoots a 7,000 tonner. So this then becomes 12,000 here, okay, and to do that he shot, let's say he shot 4 fish and 2 were hits, so we'd have 3 and 7. And he got another ship. So you can see his points now went up to 8 from where they were before, which would have been 4. So he doubled his points by doing that. Okay. All right. So that's kind of how what the numbers really look like when they're moving. Okay, so so the big takeaways here are, of course, that you gotta sink something try to sink something every patrol to get your successful patrol ratio up, and you gotta get torpedoes on target. Now, understanding you're gonna have duds, right? But the more accurate you are, of course, the better this percentage is going to be. You could even get better, in the short term anyway, get better than the dud percentage even, right? And so by doing that, by getting the levels up, and why it makes sense to have this in here is because part of this is, of course, these levels here are torpedo improvements. So once we hit these levels, then we've got, you can turn one dud or miss into a hit, or two or three or four, etc. So that's why this makes sense to be in here, because if these, to the extent these are getting better, these percentages are getting better, these ratios are getting better, it's implying that the torpedoes are getting better. Okay, so tonnage, obviously sink tonnage, that's going to be a big one, probably the biggest of these drivers. It's the total divided by 1,000. So you can see already, assuming your other ratios are good, this is the big driver of it, and ships sunk, of course. So that's how the points are computed. Here's the chart. So as you've seen, I now do the B-Dienst channel here. So we got Horst sitting here, and he's telling you basically what this level is, or what just happened. So in this case, 60 was lost. But again, it only dropped us from 38, which was this level here, down to 34, which it's only going to be a little bit to get us back up to speed again. So we've got that, and then the torpedo quality is just 34 to 97. You can see that's just this, okay, to 97 to hit that. So we were, when I did the numbers, when I recomputed everything, we were here. So what that gave us was 2 British ships, meaning the next thing you sight is automatically going to be British, and 2 convoy points. With the convoy points, basically, and I think I explained this last time, was to the extent we get, once everybody gets 4 of these, okay, once everybody gets 4 of these, everybody's next engagement sighting is going to be a convoy. All right, so and by the way, my name is on here, but I'm actually not. I'm doing a solo campaign. It's not counting toward our totals, but I'm tracking it on the side so that I can play test. So this is just my engagement data. The next thing I sighted actually tonight. So I had a run last night. Had some little trouble with duds, but you can see the one fish I landed that wasn't a dud, it sank pretty quickly, and so 8,000 tons there. And then this one here is an 11,000 tonner. So we'll see how that one goes, but I only have 2 fish left, so I'm not sure how that's going to go. But anyway, I'm doing this in order to A, play test the campaign, and B, to play test this as well alongside of you guys. So that being said, Maverick is inactive now. He's been away too long, but we're not losing his points, because if people are inactive, it's personal circumstances or whatever the case might be. Everybody shouldn't get penalized for somebody who's inactive. Okay, it just doesn't make any sense to do that. So his point value will stick. It just obviously won't move. But anyway, that's how that's working. The loss of points for a sunk boat. Again, we're trying to simulate the war effort here. So to the extent a boat is lost, that obviously hurts the collective effort. And so I think it makes sense to dock the total points. However, this, say one particular individual went out on patrol and they sank tonnage, but then a few days later they were sunk themselves. Well, the tonnage they sank gets added at the moment that it happens. I will literally, as soon as I find out that you sank ships, I'll go into the spreadsheet and update it, and immediately update the B-Dienst level. Which of course then may create additional levels to be achieved, that to be reached, right? And all the benefits that confers. So so that individual's tonnage is still contributing to the campaign. Now, say 2 days later they get sunk. Yes, all those points are now gone. However, this level, the benefits that came out of that level, to the extent they're auto enemies, those stick. The convoy points are lost. Okay, the convoy points are lost because ultimately that's the British are getting a little smarter or whatever. They're not, they're rerouting their convoys or whatever. Those are gone. So in this particular instance, we started at 37, which would have garnered us 2 convoy points. Okay, we dropped 1, so we all lost a convoy point. But we still have our 2 auto enemies. Okay, so those stick. So just because the points are lost, the benefits that were already earned by that additional tonnage are locked in. Okay, if we dip down below like we have here, what that means is, and this hasn't changed, is that until we get back up to the level that we were at, if these run out, these auto enemies run out, assuming you have no auto enemies left, like me, I don't have any auto enemies left, so I would actually have to check twice and take the worse answer of the nationality check. Worse answer meaning not a valid target based on standing orders, etc. So we have a little bit of a buffer by these auto enemies here, so hopefully we score some tonnage or whatever, get our level back up here before people start running out of these, which I guarantee is going to happen. I mean, some of these ships are going to get sunk for sure. So we'll get over. That's why I say we'll get over this here. It shouldn't be a problem at all. But anyway, this is how this is working now. So take a look at these formulas and understand them. Keep your sink something on every patrol. Try to anyway get this percentage up. Obviously, try to get this percentage up. Be as accurate as you can. And then sink your tonnage, and also this will just by default increase as you sink ships, obviously. So this is how it's working. This is how it's really going to stay, I believe. It reflects much better all of the stats, I think, that we really want to track. The biggest of which is now, this is the big thing that wasn't in here before, is the accuracy or the hit percentage. Okay, so that's a pivotal thing now. So yeah, so I mean, at that, there's really not much else that needs to be said. Like I said, once this box moves up to 49, once we get back up to 37, we'll get this convoy point back. And then once we get up to 49, then everybody will get 1 additional auto enemy. So I will increase this by 1 across the board. And then once we hit 61, then boom, that's another convoy point, at which time we'll have 3. And then by 85, we'll all have 4. So then everybody gets a convoy essentially after that. And then after that, we're at 97. The benefit that comes with this, of course, is the 1 you swap in 1 dud or miss for a hit, and so on and so forth. But again, if we're here and we earn this, but we get a sinking or whatever, and we drop below, well, that goes away again, right? It's maybe the torpedo testers, they ran into another snag or whatever. So that's really what this is trying to achieve. But anyway, so this is the updated system, much better, much more reflective, and let me know if you guys have any questions about it, or if anything in here just doesn't make any sense. Please let me know. But anyway, take care, and talk to you soon.